Hamas continues to attack Israel through the air. Thousands of rockets are now aimed at southern parts of Israel after Hamas vows revenge for their most recent round of airstrikes that killed a number of militants yesterday in Gaza. Palestinian militants launched some 40 rockets into Israel over the course of just 1 hour last night. The Israeli military says it was the largest rocket strike by Palestinians in this current round of fighting. Officials say a dozen of those rockets were intercepted by rocket defense batteries, but the attack set off air raid sirens up to 50 miles away from Gaza. In the meantime, Israel Defense Forces continue to mobilize armored personnel carriers and ground troops to the borders between Israel and the Gaza Strip. In response to that Palestinian rocket fire, Israel launched an offensive attack against Hamas dubbed Operation Protective Edge. In a series of overnight airstrikes leveled homes along the Gaza-ruled areas of Gaza, the Hamas-ruled areas of Gaza, I should say. Israeli Defense Forces say these homes targeted belong to militant fighters, and the Israeli army says it struck 50 sites inside Palestine through the night, including various militant compounds. Officials say the airstrikes are aimed at ending the attacks by Hamas, which again fired some 300 rockets and mortars at Israel over the last few weeks. And the family of a U.S. teenager beaten by Israeli police says the boy's confinement to house arrest is, quote, ridiculous. According to his family based in Tampa, the 15-year-old Palestinian American was visiting relatives when police tied him up and began attacking him. The whole thing caught on video, as you can see, outside of his uncle's home. The attack happened shortly after the teenager's cousin was abducted and then burned alive in Jerusalem. The boy's family is calling for the teenager's immediate return to the U.S.
He's not used to this. He's Tampa kid, doesn't know what war is, doesn't know what a war zone is, doesn't know he was going to get involved with this.
The family says the 15-year-old feared for his own life and thought he was going to be abducted like his cousin. Israeli police did not charge the teenager in any crime, but he is serving, again, that 10-day house arrest. Meantime, State Department press spokeswoman Jen Psaki says a U.S. official has met with the Palestinian teenager. Psaki says the State Department is deeply concerned about what took place.
We remain shocked that he was severely beaten while in police custody and strongly have condemned that.
Yesterday, also moving ahead now, we talked about the TSA's latest round of protective measures for flights coming into the United States. The additional inspections include powering up electronic devices before passengers board their planes. U.S. intelligence officials say new measures come after they learned that al-Qaeda was planning a new attack using undetectable bombs. Of course, some people are asking whether these measures are really necessary.
No doubt that this will help, because if somebody will put on his cell phone explosives instead of all the electronic equipment that you have, and he will fill it up, then it's dangerous for the flight.
An aviation security consultant says TSA agents need to make sure electronic devices such as cell phones are working properly so that terrorists can't fill them up with explosives and then blow up an aircraft.